Welcome, everyone. Well, welcome, Laura. Welcome, Cameron. Welcome, Sherry. Welcome, 12522. Glad you're here. Um, got a couple more people still joining. We'll give it just another minute. Hello, Joe.
Hey, Eddie.
And let's see who just joined. Welcome, Gina. Oh, Gina's connecting to audio. So there we go. Welcome, Gina. Glad you're here. Um, if anyone who's not on camera would like to be on camera, and I guess most people don't like to be on camera, but love to have you on camera. If not, we understand. If there's a reason you can't be, then that's all right. Um, so it looks like, and I'm not sure, I've got two that are phone calls with no name. If you are in a situation, if you're on a phone or something or driving, then no big deal. But if you're where you can put a name in the Zoom profile so we know who you are instead of just a phone number, that would be awesome. So we can kind of, if you ask questions, we know who's asking and that sort of thing. So there's only a few of you here. That's kind of actually good for us because it's more one-on-one. Um, do me this favor. We're gonna show you in just a minute how the Genesis Raider works for North Carolina. This is for North Carolina only at the moment. But first, if you would please, in chat, in the meeting chat, would you put where you're calling from? We assume North Carolina, but what city are you calling from, please? Greenville, Jacksonville, Dallas, Zebulon. All right, got it. I know all those places very, very well. I'm in Elon, um, and Jenna on the call is in Forest City, North Carolina, and nobody else. Joe and Lisa, they're not North Carolinians. So, and Hertford, North Carolina. Actually, I don't know where Hertford, North Carolina is. I know where the rest of them are, though. Thank you for doing that. Next thing, if you would put in chat for me, this is going to be helpful in just a second. Tell me in chat if you are using a comparative rate or which one you're using. So you could be using what we're calling Genesis rate or J rate. You could be using PL Raider, Turbo Raider, whatever you're using. Put that in chat, please. And if you're using nothing, say none. Love to see what you guys are doing. None, Laura, thank you. Access to Genesis, but haven't used it. Got it. We'll hopefully fix that today, Gina. Sherry, none. Cameron, none. Okay, cool, I guess. None. Um, so, Jenna, is the way we're going to do this, are you going to demonstrate how this works, or is Joe going to do that? Or
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay, so you demonstrate how it works if you want to share your screen. And you guys on the call, please either come off of mute and ask questions or type the questions in chat. Don't wait for Jenna just to go through the whole presentation necessarily. If you have a question, go ahead and ask it. I will go ahead and tell you, I was going to be funny and say at the end of the little time together, it won't take long. This won't take a long time. I was going to tell you I've got a special promotion for you, and then at the end I was going to tell you we're going to give this to you for free. Currently, we're not charging anyway, so I won't wait and say that to the end. But we're not currently charging for this. We used to for Genesis Classic. We always charged for the Raider, but we have not. I'm not saying we will never charge for the Raider that's built into Genesis now, but currently we're not. So if you guys, anyone who's not using it wants to test it, we would love for you to test it and give us feedback. There'd be no charge for that. So Jenna, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I was going to mention that actually, that there's no additional cost to use this. So if it's, something that you want to use, something that you're interested in just trying out, maybe, um, yeah, it's we can turn this on for you. So, and you won't be charged for that. Okay, this will be relatively quick. My plan today is just to share with you, jump straight into a client screen, share with you some things on the client level that have to do with J rates, hop into a policy, let you see me actually get a quote back from a couple of different carriers, and then I'll point out a few other things to you along the way. But I'm going to just go up and search for my client profile here, and we're going to hop into Carson. The very first thing that I want to point out here is if you have J rate turned on, you're going to start noticing here on the client main screen a few different fields that are orange. So you're going to notice here I have two fields here that are showing up in orange, and I'm going to share with you too a few other places that you will want to pay special attention to as it pertains to J rate in order for you to get a quote back. But any field that you see that's in orange, those need to be completed in order for the quote to run successfully. So here on the client main screen, that being your first section. I'm going to scroll down here to my personal auto policy. Now, I have this status listed as pending quote, and that's what I'm going to show you today to get a quote back through JRate. However, you can, run this quote if this is an active policy and you are just requoting that policy for the customer, or maybe this is a canceled policy that you are, rewriting for the insured. No matter the status, you can hop in there, make sure the information is completed the way that it needs to be, and then proceed to either get a new quote, rewrite, whatever it may be for your customer. So I'm going to hop into this personal auto policy here. Up at the top, again, you're going to notice some orange fields. So again, I may say that a few times, but anything that's in orange, you do want to make sure that that's completed. Obviously, the more information that you can fill out here, the better your chances for the most accurate quote. You're going to have some additional underwriting questions here that you want to complete. If we go into the vehicle level, you are going to continue to see those fields there that are listed in orange that you want to have completed. And then depending on the carriers that you are quoting with, you're going to notice, like this is vehicle specific underwriting questions. You're going to see those questions down here at the bottom. So like this one in particular is for National General. These are underwriting questions, required from that particular carrier. Same thing for the driver. So if I hop into a driver here, just to let you take a look around, again, I have all the fields here that are required for completion. And then I have some underwriting questions here from both Discovery and National General that are required, that are driver specific. No worries, if for whatever reason you were to not complete one of those fields that are in orange, it's not going to let you run the quote anyway. It'll give you a message, that shares with you, hey, we need this information in order to be able to run this quote. So once I have all of the information filled in just the way that I need it to, you're going to go up to the top. You're going to see J rate. If you have J rate turned on, you're going to see J rate at the top. It's going to be this orange button here, and you're going to select that. You will see all of the carriers right now for this demonstration specifically. I'm only sharing with you two carriers, Discovery and National General, but any carrier that we have on J rate that you are quoting with or that you would like to quote with, you're going to see all those carriers listed here, which, by the way, just to go ahead and I can go ahead and throw this in now. I'm only sharing with you Discovery and National General. However, all of the carriers that are currently on J rate include National General, Dairyland Auto, Discovery, Insurance House, Progressive, and Safeco coming very soon. So Safeco is not on there today, but it should be very, very soon that you'll see Safeco here. If for whatever reason, so right now I'm going to run this quote with both of the carriers here that I have selected. If I only wanted to run this quote specifically with National General, all I have to do is remove Discovery from quoting for this particular policy. So you can select, or remove the carriers here that you plan on, that you'd like to get a quote back for. You have your final set here of underwriting questions specific to each carrier. So you can see my underwriting questions for Discovery, my ones for National General. Again, in orange, they need to be filled out. However, for example, if you don't have this information here, that's okay. You can still at least run the quote effectively. Before I actually hit rate policy down there at the bottom right, I did want to share with you the previous quotes. So if I hit previous quotes, what this is going to show me is these are the quotes that I've done for this particular customer for this policy previously. So maybe you get a quote for your customer today. They say, okay, sounds good. I'll be in next week. You don't need to go rerun, re-rate any of this. You can just come back, select previous quotes, and you'll see those listed here. But we're going to go ahead and hit rate policy so that you can see that come back. It'll take it just a minute or seconds, I guess I should say, to get your quote back. So you're going to start seeing those as the quotes are coming in. You're going to start seeing them listed down there at the bottom. I'll give it just another second.
Jenna, can I say something while you're waiting on that?
Yeah.
One thing that's cool, and you may have been going to touch on it, but I don't want to chance it. Down at the bottom right of that little screen that's popped up, it says Save to Media. That's useful. Were
Yeah,
you going to talk about that?
I was. Yeah, but you go ahead. You got
Okay.
it.
I was just going to say it's useful, and like if I tell my customer or my prospect, the premium 1707.90 is the premium I'm getting here with Discovery, um, or 1276 with Nat Gen in this case it looks like. But then you can save one of I don't know you save one of these, whichever one to save, to media or all of these, and
Right.
then that's a nice way to email the customer after you get off the phone, so they've got the quote information
Yeah,
by email.
exactly. Exactly. Okay, so I have both of my quotes back. You can see here at the top a little OK message. That means, that I have these quotes back successfully. If for whatever reason I get a message there's been an error, it will give you that error message. It'll also tell you exactly what it is that you need to go back and fix, which is nice. So it might say, the limits of liability need to be at least this, or whatever the reason is for it not bringing a quote back for you, it will share with you what you need to go back to adjust or make a change to so that you can accurately get that quote. So once all of my quotes have come back, I can see them down here listed at the bottom. When you decide which quote that you want to go ahead and move forward with, you are going to see a bridge button here. So this is going to bridge all of this information here. It's going to open up the carrier site and bring over this information for you to the carrier site. And then, you can proceed forward there with running the MVR, getting credit score, whatever it is that, in order to finalize your quote with that carrier. You can save this to policy. So what that's going to do is if this is the particular quote that you are going to move forward with, you can go ahead and hit save to policy. It's going to take this information here, the total premium, the term, the monthly installments, and go ahead and fill in that information here for you automatically back behind this screen here at the policy level. And then you can also hit rewrite policy. So what that's going to do for you is if you are using this as a rewrite opportunity, it's not going to take this information and adjust it on this particular policy. It's going to cancel this policy that I have here behind me and create a new policy with this information listed there. You can print rates. So if I select that, you can see that here. If this is something that you want to print out to hand over to, your customer, you can do that to share with them the rates that you received back. And then, as Eddie mentioned, you can save this to media. So from there, it will save as a PDF. So you can email it, text it from the policy level or the client main screen if you want to share that with your customer there as well. Um, So yeah, that is essentially JRate. It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy to use, and that's really all I had planned to share today. So if anyone on the Genesis team, if there's anything, that I left out, or if there are any questions from anyone, we can go that route too.
Good job, and thank you, Jenna. I've got a couple comments, but first, do any of the customers on the call have a question so far? Come off of mute and ask it, or type it in chat. Um, Surely you have a question or two. I've got a couple comments I'll make while I'm waiting to see if anybody has a question. And just to make sure you guys are still paying attention, would you maybe put in chat, do you like this or not? Is this helpful? How does one get the J-rate button? Lisa Gibson, is that a question for you about how we set this up? Not hearing you. Not hearing you.
I can jump in
Okay.
if I need to, and if I'm wrong, she can when she figures it out, let me know that I'm wrong. It's pretty simple. So there are of course, reach out to our implementation team, and they'd be happy to help. There are videos that we can share that helps you turn it on, which is, by the way, just over here in agency setup under locations. So that's where you would turn on the carriers that you're wanting to use for J-rate. And then there are training videos on how to actually use it once you have it turned on. So I think the answer to that specific question is we are able to share with you a very simple video of you go over to agency locations, turn the carriers on that you want to use, and then you're going to see your J-rate button up here located at the top. I think that's pretty much.
And they'll make some changes in the user setup. They'll need to put their credentials in. So each user will have credentials. And once they have that set up, and it's going to tell you if you don't have your credentials set up. So if you clicked on J-rate and you didn't have your credentials set up for a certain company or anything like that, you're going to see that message and you can go in and fix that.
Jenna or Lisa Gibson, is that video something we could share in the meeting chat? A link to that? Is there just one video, or not hearing you, Lisa Gibson? Because I don't know. I guess we could just tell these people, Jenna, what do they need to do? Do they email somebody or what?
Yeah, I would just say if this is something that Lisa G, I hope this is all right, but she can't say yes or no, so I'm gonna hand it to her anyway. Um, I would probably reach out to Lisa G, so it's just Lisa G at JenesisSoftware.com if this is something that you want to get turned on, and then she'll be able to, yeah, get you in the right direction.
Okay.
I
So
could
good.
paste that email in the chat too, by the way.
Okay, thank you. So good question on how to get it set up, and what types. And I responded to that one. Somebody asked what policy types. Currently, in North Carolina, it's just auto under J-rate for those carriers that Jenna mentioned. I will mention, because I've kind of had this conversation with agencies for 20 years, I guess, when we first introduced quote control, which was something kind of similar in our Genesis Classic version many, many years ago. The reason I believe a rater is important is because, well, first I want to kind of walk through the flow. And just for those of you who don't know, there's also a new feature that we've got. It's also no extra charge for you, that you can go in Genesis Now, create a code to give to your website developer. We do some of your websites, some of you otherwise, but do your own. And that code will go on your website, and it allows the customers or prospects to go on your website, enter the data in, and that data for the quote will flow into Genesis Now. So that's really cool. So if you're not using that, look into that. The other part of that is, once the data is in Genesis Now, why wouldn't you let it go ahead and rate with 2, 4, 6 carriers that you might have appointments with? The data is already going to be on that carrier's website by just clicking that button. You may still, some people say, yeah, but the rate's not always right. It's not always right. It's a guideline, but then you can click through the bridge like Jenna was showing, and then finish the quote there, or make changes or adjustments, and you'll get the rate from the final rate from the carrier's site. The other cool thing about this process is now the person, the customer, the prospect's in Genesis Now. So if you've got all your automation for marketing turned on, and I hope everybody does, if you don't, put that on your to-do list for next week. We can help you with that if you need help. is now you'll start emailing these customers and prospects after they've gotten a quote, and that's huge for improving the closing ratio and getting those people to come in and buy. And then like Jenna showed about the rewrite, and I don't know if she called it re-rate or not, but there's also this concept, on one hand, you may have a customer that says, I want to cancel this policy because I've had points drop off maybe, and I want to rewrite it with another carrier, or even the same carrier. This is a super cool way to get those rates real quick because the data's already in there instead of going manually out to the carrier site. The other thing is for some agencies who have a policy of normally requoting or re-rating renewals just to see if they can find the rate cheaper with a different carrier, that certainly makes this super easy. When those downloads come in for a renewal that's coming up in a few weeks, you can click a button, re-rate these, and then if it's enough cheaper, you could reach out to the customer and offer them that better deal. So that's kind of cool too. So has anybody read the question yet? Cameron's got a question. If anybody's already read it, I won't have to read it
Yeah.
all.
Well, I'm not 100% sure. So I've ran one quote through JRate, so I don't have much experience, but there seemed to be a bunch of little carrier specific questions that I needed to fill in that might automatically be filled in the actual carrier's quoting platform. I'm super optimistic to make JRate more time efficient for me quoting Progressive and NatGen, so I'm open to having more guidance or help with that.
Yeah, well, thank you. What were you going to say, Jenna?
Maybe it is just what it is. So they're just asking, yeah, the question is in regards to automatically filling in the actual information on the carrier's platform.
Yeah. So I guess what Cameron may be talking about is with some of the carriers, and correct me, Cameron, either verbally if you want to come off mute or type it in chat. Are you talking about where you can put in like a VIN and it'll kind of populate a lot of the data for that prospect? Is that what you're talking about? Yep. Okay. So I don't know that I have a great answer for that. I think I believe, and if you've only done one, I would suggest you do 10 or 20, and then let's talk. I think in an ideal world, I would like for JenesisNow to do the same thing. It doesn't at the moment. So, but I do think if you're going to rate that with 2, 4, 6 carriers, that there's probably value in, even if you have to enter the data in here manually once to get it to go out to all those platforms multiple times, and then at renewal, you're rocking and rolling from now on once it's in there. It still may be when I'm trying to analyze my preferred workflow. It still might be my preferred workflow rather than going to 2, 4, or 6 carriers manually. Even if they help fill in the data, you're still having to go out 2, 4, or I'm just making up those numbers, but several times. So I would say you would know more, and I think you're dead on, Cameron, when you said you've only done it the one time. I would say do it 10 times, maybe 20, and then I think you're going to really know and have amazing feedback, and we would love to hear from you. We would love your feedback at that point. Yeah, cool. That's good. Thank you for the question. I don't think I have any other comments. Does anybody on my team have any other comments? Does any other customer have any comments? To you customers, if anyone would like, it's good to hear, Gina. Let us know how we can help. Just contact Lisa Gibson. We show up at these webinars and then put all the work on Lisa Gibson. So she can't even, we won't even let her talk. I've really got her muted so she couldn't talk. If anybody's not gotten a copy of my new book, you can get a free copy of this off of our website, JenesisSoftware.com. When I say free, I think there's like a $6 charge for shipping and handling or something like that. But if you go to JenesisSoftware.com, scroll to the bottom, love for you to get a copy of that. If you read it, like it, if it's useful and helpful, that'd be awesome. And I'd love to hear your feedback about it. I think that's all I have today. Appreciate everybody's time, and we enjoy these times meeting with you, and it's important to us to try to do all we can to make you amazing rock star insurance agents. So let us know, continue to let us know how we can help serve you better. Thanks, and have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.